Excited to get into this one. It's going to be a best of 7, potentially 2. We have Sentinels versus Cloud9 on the main stage. Your Kansas City Major Championship Grand Finals happens right now. Hello, Kansas City, and hello, folks at home, and welcome to the Halo Championship Series Kansas City Major.
My God, the layup of the dunk coming in from C9 to close out the series.
LethuL just taking full advantage of it. There's a triple and some main stage energy for you.
There's a reason that this team is able to do whatever they want on the map. A lot of that is due to the main Slayer, Renegade. We'll see if he can pop off. Confidence out of Cloud9. You can see on every single POV when we cut to their screens, they are not backing down from fights and they are hitting their shots, without a doubt.
Frosty going to be challenging Pznguin, but Pznguin does not miss in this series.
That's going to be it. Sentinels are going to the winner's finals. The losing his overstill, still able to hit the kill. Now gets a double kill. Does Renegade. The main Slayer starting to heat up at the first.
But Sentinels go into a lead. 10 seconds left on the clock.
Not over.
The push comes in from Pioneers. Frosty gets the backwack. Plays the ball. And Frosty's going mad.
Oh my God, that's a game-saving play from Frosty. Game-saving play. The time ticks down. Sentinels will win off of the Frosty camo play.
It's Championship Sunday, and it all comes down to this. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Sentinels! All right, the stage is set. It's Cloud9 versus Sentinels. Kansas City, are you ready? One more time, are you ready? It's time to get the grand final started. All set. Bro, take it away.
Absolutely ridiculous. The energy in this room is palpable. It is electric here in Kansas City. And it's our pleasure to talk you through this grand final. It's going to be myself, Onset, and Bravo. We have two of the best teams in the world ready to throw it down. Sentinels versus Cloud9.
Coming into this weekend, not many would have expected Sentinels to do the work to get here, but that's exactly what they've done. They look to reclaim their throne. Of course, though, the team that still holds that throne, Halo Infinite, will be the team on your screen now. It's Cloud9.
Cloud9 still very much known as the best in the world right now. 2 LAN victories so far in Halo Infinite. Unbeaten in the LAN environment. But if there's one team that knows how to play against this lineup historically, it's going to be Sentinels. The sleeping giant has awoken here in KC as we take a look at our Grand Final Series layout.
That's right. You can say that Sentinels, compared to their historic performance, have been dormant. As you say, they've been awoken. Game number 1, Oddball on Recharge. Game number 2, StelluR Streets.
We'll go to CTF Aquarius as our game 3. We go back to Streets in game 4 for some more Strongholds action. Bazaar, Slayer, Oddball Livefire, and Slayer Aquarius will close out what could be the final series. However, if it's going to be Cloud9 who do manage to take home the win in this first best of 7, Andy, it means we're going the distance and we're going to reset the bracket.
And my God, to see Cloud9 playing that early in the elimination bracket, not something we're used to. To see Optic and C9 both falling in winners, and the Sentinels return as the kings of the winners bracket. It's crazy to see Sentinels only needs 1 series here to reclaim the HCS throne.
These two teams have been playing just lights out. It has been an honor to watch some of these games, let alone be up here in the casting booth for the grand final. And I think you've got to remind ourselves a little bit as well what has happened between these two teams just very recently today, right? Cloud9 were beaten by Sentinels. I don't think many people saw it coming, unless, of course, you've been watching quite a lot of Sentinels gameplay over the last few weeks. But it looks like we're ready to go here. It's Sunday night, everyone, and you know what that means. It's time to kick things off here for our grand finals. It's Cloud9 versus Sentinels. It's Recharge Oddball.
And we are right into the mix. Welcome along to the grand finals here at the HCS Kansas City Major. It's been an unbelievable weekend of Halo Infinite, and we are poised here, set up for a fantastic grand final.
what a venue and what a place it's been to hold what has been a historic event so far. KC has not disappointed. Every single person who's been out there in the crowd has been giving us so much energy throughout the weekend, and I'm sure these players have been preparing to put on a similar series, which is, deserving the effort that's been put in by the local crowd. And the break here is going to be a pretty standoffish position between the two teams, but it looks like Cloud9 have managed to scoop up that ball and get a few points on the board.
It's a good push from Sentinels. Take a look at this. They send players top goal. They also send players pipes. They will trade out 2 for 1. That will also give them some ball control here on Bat Ledge.
Looks like they will have, as you say, semblance of setup here. They do have information of where those spawns are going to be coming in. Also, it looks like Sentinels are picking up a couple of kills across the board, which is just going to help them stagger those spawns. Good early turn coming in here for Sentinels. SnakeBite going to be our POV to watch for now. He's got the Commando in hand as well to stretch some shields.
Still 2 dead here for C9. And has Sentinels ever showed up this week and almost gets the back whack? Does SnakeBite against Renegade, but Renegade's long haul push ends up looking good. He'll stay alive at bottom gold as well.
Good early time coming in here though from Sentinels. Looking across the statistics right at the start of this game, you can see everybody pretty much level across the board. Maybe it's going to take Pznguin, the man who is the jack of all trades and the master of many, to break down what has been a solid start here from Sentinels. He managed to pick up a few kills on his way forward there. StelluR's managed to escape with that oddball as well. And it looks like a little bit of a rotation coming in towards that long haul. Maybe a play ball on the menu here for StelluR.
The man on your screen. Questions have been asked of LethuL. So far, he has answered. And if Sentinels were to win this event, I think if Grapple's attempt of the camo does not hit, LethuL can't get out there. You have to think if Sentinels wins this, we might stop hearing about the questions about LethuL. Is he on par? Is he where he used to be? Big series here for the entire squad.
I think a lot of questions have been answered by this Sentinels lineup so far at the KC Major. For now, though, you can see the camo bow is going to be going down. It looks like it will have been burnt down bottom middle. 3 players have fallen for Sentinels, as now it's going to be a little bit of progress, maybe towards that oddball. Royal 2 with a repulsor. Pznguin going to get a little bit of assistance from Eco to pick up that kill onto Royal 2.
Worth noting here the difference in slays across the board so far. Sentinels is outslaying Cloud9 22-15 already. It's a great start for them in the kill department.
Pznguin's going to be able to pick up the oddball here, but unfortunately for him, a couple of players have already fallen surrounding him. The last player alive for just a few moments, and that's why SnakeBite is able to pressure him without really taking too much fire. Eco has managed to rotate off of the respawn, and now will have to hold. Royal 2 is going to be the player who'll get the trade. Another player from Sentinels looking to flood in as well, but a couple of shots in the back for the respawners. We're going to make this a tough battle here for Frosty. He takes down StelluR, but Pznguin's there to exchange.
3 dead for just a second for Sentinels, but you can tell they're applying the pressure. Here's SnakeBite around the corner with Pznguin.
And again, Pznguin just playing that corner sneaky. He's going to be the bait for Renegade to step in and pick up the kills that he needs to. There's the repulsor again, and there's Pznguin with yet another kill. Pznguin starting off pretty well here, leading the line for Cloud9 in slays. He's sat at 8 and 7.
Lucky timing there with that play ball. Buy Sentinels a little bit of extra time. They will maintain their lead purely because that ball had reset out of pipes. But Cloud9 will maintain control of pipes as well as the shot.
Frosty and LethuL pick up kills. Renegade looking to pick up the pieces on the damage that was done, but now he's just getting flown at. LethuL just gets his wings clipped as he flies through to try and clean up Renegade. The main slayer here for Cloud9 survives for now. Shock rifle in his hands. Frosty going to show a shoulder. Renegade going to show him the death screen.
Pznguin picks up another one bottom middle. Needs to be careful with this camo. You can tell that Cloud9 knows how much pressure is on them. And how different this year will be. How different the first season of Halo Infinite will be if they were to fall here.
One interesting thing to note here. After that early hold that did come in from Sentinels, there really hasn't been any semblance of a setup or a hold from either team. It's been a little bit of scrappy time coming in from Cloud9. Sentinels been more than willing to try and slay out, try and match them kill for kill, knowing that they have that lead, knowing that they've done that hard work. But at the moment, it seems like most of the battles have just been happening in and around pipes.
Yeah, it really has been, just all around batteries around pipes, and it's really just battle for control. And I think what that tells us on that is just how much these two teams respect each other. They want a little bit more slaying control before they go for that ball time. And take a look at the clock. We're under a minute left already. 29-33, not that many points on the board in terms of ball time.
Well, now the kills have been picked up. It's the opportunity that C9 have been looking for to get their hands on that Oddball. The collapse is going to come in here. Renegade on the flank. Cuts across the mid-bridge and picks up two. StelluR trying to get his hands on the ball. SnakeBite trying to do what he can off respawn alongside LethuL just to keep StelluR off the ball. And they've managed to do it for now.
And isn't this what Cloud9 does? They wait for the right moment to strike. It's a 2-point game with 30 seconds left.
Such thin margins though in this game. Very, very thin margins. There's Royal 2. He'll win an important battle, traded out immediately. StelluR picks up 2. That's going to be Sentinels finding themselves 3 dead. And Pznguin says, not only am I going to grab the ball, but maybe
oh boy,
I'm going to win the round here. It's a 2-point advantage. Pznguin's trying to escape. He's trying to throw the ball away as well. Such a smart play from Pznguin. Renegade's going to grab the camo. Sentinels have 10 seconds to get their hands on the ball. All the players here from Cloud9 will fall. And Sentinels look like with the ball being moved back towards C here, they should be able to get the play ball if needed.
Still 2 dead. Time will tick down to 0. That's it, 38-35. Sentinels will take your first round of Recharge Oddball.
Sentinels just continuing to show a level of form that we have not seen from them in quite some time. A level of form we've been waiting for. And we called them the Sleeping Giant coming into this event, and you can see exactly why. We know what they're capable of, and after that first round of Oddball, it was a nervy one, I think, for both teams. So many 2v2 battles around pipes consistently happening. Trade. I thought at the end there, Pznguin might have made the play of the game, though, the play of the round, by throwing that ball out, but unfortunately for him, just the stage fell at the wrong time for C9. Frosty was able to grab that ball and rotate to C.
Let's not forget, the reason Pznguin played that ball was because he did not get the bat ledge jump. I don't know what happens if C9 gets that ball into pipes. It could be a very different round. They had numbers around pipes as well as batteries. Maybe an opportunity there and a missed opportunity. It's a rare one for C9. And we're starting to see Sentinels apply the right level of aggression. And in doing so, a little bit of cracks in the C9 armor.
Also seeing very important individual battles being won just at the right time. Royal 2, who won those battles just at the end of that round. It was traded out immediately, but it means that it's a 1v1 instead of a 2v1 in those kind of situations where that ball is down and Cloud9 are desperately trying to move towards that ball to just scrape those few seconds to get the lead. But it was a very interesting pace to that game. Like I mentioned, kind of halfway through, there was one hold from Sentinels, really consistent setup hold, where they got 20, 30 seconds. And then from there, they were happy just to bait that ball, to try and slay out against C9, which I think just shows a level of confidence here from Sentinels, that they know what they've got to do here.
We should also check in on the kills overall from that first round, 49-43 in favor of Sentinels. They maintained the outslaying advantage throughout the entirety of that round. Also, SnakeBite, the man in charge, 17-12.
17-12, and I think SnakeBite, even though there's been understandable trials and tribulations for this Sentinels roster throughout the year so far, since the launch of Halo Infinite, he has been the consistent. He has been popping off every single tournament, regardless of the lineup, whoever's been there. He's been the standout for me on Sentinels.
Yeah, it's so rare you see him make any kind of mistake in game. I think in the last series we watched, he was tested, absolutely put on a show, and as you watch his POV, you feel like every time we're on a screen, he's going to make the right decisions for his team in every given moment.
100%. We'll have a quick look at the end of that round. As it was Sentinels who managed to close things out. A couple of plays coming in just at the end of this game that I need to highlight here. The double grenades onto batteries. As small as it seems, it stops that ball being collected by StelluR. That means that Renegade has to make some different decisions. The timing is off on then trying to push because he knows that both those players can challenge. Renegade has to try and rotate. A small kill, but a big aftershock from it. That is what almost won Sentinels that round.
Also, look at the 1v1s that we're seeing here so many times. Here's the play. Look, Pznguin, this is a standard bat ledge jump. Can't go into pipes there. You see the teammates here. Instead, he has to play ball out. Tried to maybe get around the corner, but right away saw there was presence in pipes. They're a little bit too spread out here. Yes, they burned that last camo, but take a look. 10 seconds on the clock. It's an easy walk here to see Black for the last few seconds of the match.
There was a little nervy moment there as well as that frag grenade bounced back and introduced itself to the body of Frosty. We have seen some funny things happen sometimes with the Geo and the grenade's not quite going where intended, but in that circumstance, luckily for Frosty, it didn't cost them too much. They do manage to close out the round. We'll get the game restarted in the background as well, so we will be getting into our second round very, very soon. But Sentinels coming out of the gate strong, which I think is important considering that Cloud9 just came off the back of such a big result against Optic Gaming.
Really big result against Optic Gaming. Just in case you're just joining us here, a big win and shutting down Optic Gaming time and time again with some heartbreaking defeats before the Green Wall. And now they've earned their spot back here in the finals, where you would expect Cloud9 to be, but after a tough first round, they find themselves once again on the back foot. And I think Sentinels is moving to us and reminding us that they are a Championship Sunday squad, and if you give them more and more time on a Sunday, the later they get into the evening on the main stage, historically, they do pretty damn well.
They do pretty damn well. Double do's there, but it's certainly going to prove the point that you're trying to say, right? This is a championship caliber team, and I think it's always been the talk about Sentinels, like, when's it going to happen? It's not if it's going to happen.
Oh, never a doubt.
It's when is it going to happen? It seems like KC, like we said, is the return to form from them. They're in the grand final, but it's the style in which they've done it which has been interesting for me, because yesterday they didn't look brilliant. Right. Sentinels, a couple of game 5s, Quadrant arguably maybe should have won the series against Sentinels, throwing away a difficult result on Street Strongholds, but they come through it. They come through it, they show resilience, and I don't know if there's been a better roster over time that wins game 5s when it matters than the 4 gentlemen you can see on your screen.
And when you and I were backstage watching some of those games yesterday, even when it went to game 5, even when it was tied, you and I looked at each other, we said, Sentinels don't lose game 5s, this one is over. They did it time and time again this weekend. And if you're on the Sentinels side, what I love about this team is they don't really care what it took to get there. They're going to get there, and then they're going to give it their all in the grand finals. What an opportunity for them here to only need the 1 series win. C9 so used to being on the other side of the bracket and other teams needing to reset. Instead, Sentinels knows they're only 4 games away from becoming champions yet again.
And when you say it like that, it seems so close. Seems like they can almost taste it, and I'm sure that that's running through their minds right now. But before they get there, they've obviously got to win those games. As we jump back into the action now, thank you so much for staying with us while we got the game reset up and ready to go. Maybe the Kansas City crowd just needed a few seconds just to catch their breaths, because they've been going hard all weekend long. But for now, we'll take a quick look at some of the statistics of these two teams before we jump back into this. Just to remind you, it's going to be 1-0 in rounds here to Sentinels. Cloud9 looking down the barrel of a first map defeat.
Massive opportunity for Sentinels. They can strike first, and they can strike hard if they take this game 1. And my God, what a start for them. 3 dead. They will also grab the ball, rotate Whirlpool.
Renegade trying to challenge, and Renegade will win that battle as well.
Ball taken.
It's going to take things like that to slow down the momentum here. The Sentinels seem to have found throughout this tournament. Royal2 going to escape with the camo as well. There's a cheeky back smack. And it looks like not only have they got camo, they've got the shock rifle, and they've got that lead.
Little rotate as well, already over to C. They have the ball in a play ball position if they need to. Still 2 dead.
Pznguin just sliding away bottom middle. Royal2. Jump scare for Renegade. Renegade survives for now. Royal2 taken down.
But time on the board for Sentinel. SnakeBite just waiting to play ball. Knows that opportunity will come soon. The ball will play. Pznguin will clear out back C with help. However, still 28 points on the board for Sentinels.
Very similar to what we saw in the first round, right? The opening rush won by Sentinels. The opening hold won by Sentinels. And a very similar amount of time. Now, Cloud9 were pretty much trading 1 for 1. They need to organize themselves a little bit more here. They can't afford to let those trades come in as easily. Otherwise, Sentinels will just keep holding this ball, keep holding this lead. And Cloud9, unfortunately, won't be able to win this round.
Momentary 2v2. Pznguin does a nice job to isolate the bottom mid battles. Eventually, he will fall in the end. So still a 2v2 on both sides of the map. Frosty now with shock in hand. Oof, my God.
Switches to the BR. Just to clean up that kill on batteries. First time we've seen Sentinels lose multiple players on the map, though. Camo going to be popping up onto our screens and into the game in a few moments as well. 1 second left before the power-up becomes present. Here's Royal2. There's a beatdown coming in from Eco, but even though Eco wins that battle elsewhere on the map, every single member of Cloud9 falls into the death screen, and Eco's still under pressure here from the Sentinels lineup.
Eco, last player alive, and finally he will be taken down. They will continue to keep that spawn trap going. Cloud9 needs to wait for each other now, because Sentinels continue to put points on the board. Just about at that 40-point mark. Unanswered points, by the way.
Trade comes in between the two teams. 3 dead once again for Cloud9, though. StelluR's going to be last alive. Royal2's got the first shot on him as well, which means the man we call the Silent Assassin is going to have to quietly try and get out of danger, but Frosty's going to chase him down. And Frosty trying to keep the pressure on C9 here. 2 fall again for Cloud9. The ball's still down bomb center.
Big life here for Royal 2. Needs to stay alive back elevator. You can tell by the way he's playing. He knows it. He's going to also try to rotate out of control, but they're a bit spread out here. They've got presence on bottom gold. They got presence on pipes. Need to make sure they play tight here as the ball will reset.
First time we've seen the first kill going into the favor of Cloud9 for quite some time. Here comes the push. Frosty's going to trade one out onto Pznguin off of the back of that, but you can see that Cloud9 are taking the opportunity now to move that ball into pipes.
Ball taken.
Pretty solid looking setup here for Cloud9 as well. There's a super combine as Renegade gets a little bit fancy. Dips his hands into the sandbox for just a few moments here. LethuL also managing to trade one out, but this is the first time we've seen a successful pipe setup. And any kind of hole coming in from Cloud9, and it's bringing them closer. It's dragging them back towards that Sentinels lead. But here comes the grenades, and here comes the pressure once again from Sen.
2 dead, 3 dead there on that pipe push, and Sentinels is looking too good. Some cheers in the crowd. Cloud9 is 3 dead. Let's see what StelluR can do here. He will get swarmed, and Cloud9 finds themselves over 20 points down. Let's go back over here to Cloud9 and see what they can do with an Astro. Listen in.
Ball taken.
Ellie's one shot lethal.
Ballard's real 2 sniping.
Okay, we gotta kill this guy.
Ballard's real 2 sniping and it's top red as well.
Last one shot, he's done. Last one.
Glass blinking, glass blinking.
Halfway
Still there? Can't see him. Saw you.
Dead, he's dead.
Ballard.
Two guys Ellie's.
Snipe me. I wanted to push this shit.
Top
Is he
red
by
sniping
himself?
on the commando. I'm about to jump up to run with you.
He's on the bottom mid.
Yeah, we can push this. Top red, row 2. C-plan or something. Top red 1, row 2.
One shot top bellies. One shot bottom elevator. Lethal's one.
He's one. Your last one.
Live up.
Two guys on me. Bottom bellies. Turbine.
He's one shot bottom bellies.
Am I trying to rotate it, Bjorn?
Well, things sound a little bit hectic, a little bit frantic here for Cloud9. Not what we're used to hearing from them. And off the back of that,
Yikes.
not only is Royal 2 repeating the dosage that a couple of teams have felt already today with that shock rifle, Sentinels have a much more dangerous looking lead here as they cross the 70-point mark.
Look at this, Royal 2 just playing so peaky, just getting information that whole time while his shields recharge, and also heating up with this shock rifle. Now only 20 points away from closing this out.
Renegade clearing the way though, and has the oddball somehow after picking up the double kill. So Cloud9 starting to put some pieces together. Royal 2 trying to keep the pressure on. The first time now we've seen Cloud9 get that ball back to C. Frosty has managed to sneak into bottom tower though, and Eco's not too aware of that. SnakeBite causing a distraction. LethuL backing him up by picking up the double, and Renegade now forced to play.
They forced to play ball again. It's great stuff once again from Sentinels. And StelluR, last player alive. Again, how rarely do we see this, where we see 3 dead repeatedly for the side of Cloud9. Not something we are used to seeing on screen.
Oh, goodness me!
Like, he got more medals than could fit on the screen.
Off the back of that ridiculous shot coming in once again from Royal 2. SnakeBite tries to force a little bit more time. 2 falls for Sentinels, but here is Frosty. The kills work at the right time. It opens the map up for Frosty to pick up the power up, and now if you're Cloud9, you're starting to worry. There's around 45 seconds left in this round. Unfortunately, it looks like one player might have fallen out, but I will say this, Sentinels look like they were on their way to closing out that second round of our grand final.
They really, really do. Sounds like a player did drop out there, so we'll get that one restarted again. Apologies. It's an opportunity, though, to take a look at the stats, and we have to talk about Renegade, number 3 highest damage overall per minute in the league. Not far behind that, of course, is a lot of the players that are on the side of Sentinels. Royal 2 is one of them, and so far, Royal 2 out-damaging the likes of Renegade without a doubt. Royal 2 was 14-8 in that game prior to the reset. If we take a look at Renegade stats, 10-11. So quite a story once again of the top players shutting one another down.
And we miss Royal 2. We have to say, like, on the main stage, there's nothing better than watching that man pop off with a precision weapon, and it seems like he's found a new best friend, right? One of the greatest kill death players we've ever had in the history of Halo. I think that he's going to be snuggling up with a shock rifle a little bit later.
I mean, it's amazing to see what they're able to do when we get to Royal 2's POV. He just waits. The timing, the patience on that no scope on bat ledge.
It's disrespectful, isn't it?
It is. He just is so comfortable with that weapon, but I think a lot of Sentinels fans in the room are excited to see this team back to normal form.
They certainly are indeed. And we'll get an update on what is going on with the scores from that first game as soon as we can do for you wonderful people who are waiting in the venue for now. But one thing that kind of has caught me off guard ever so slightly, especially after C9 coming off the back of such a hot result, is how much control Sentinels have actually had in that first game of our grand final. They don't look flustered, they're not missing a beat whatsoever, and I think the chemistry is there as well. Lottie said it best on the desk, right? The one thing that Sentinels have been missing is just being on the same page. Now it seems almost automatic. They've got that game plan down and everyone is executing in the way they need to.
Taking a look here at two players on your screen, two legendary powerhouse Halo players. Their Kansas City specific stats. Pznguin right now with a 1.04 KD. SnakeBite, he's batting heavy, 1.26. Pznguin, not surprisingly, higher assists per minute due to his playstyle, what he does on the map, but even higher damage as well. But these two players popping off, but so far, it's been the SnakeBite story in our grand final.
It certainly has, indeed, and Pznguin does a lot more than those stats will show as well. We said, objectively, some of the best stats in the league. Most flag runs, most flag pulls.
In addition to what we just saw.
In addition to what we just saw. So he really is a do-it-all kind of guy. He is a W kind of player, playing for that win every single time. And we're hearing from the back, I believe it was 56 points the Sentinels will need when we get this restart underway. Cloud9 will need the full 100 to send us into a round 3.
Not only is this Sentinels' first time in a grand finals in Halo Infinite, but they undoubtedly also look the best in these matches specifically. This is the best they have looked all year long, and they picked quite a time to do it.
And Pznguin, also, just to throw another stat out there, is currently ranked first in assists per minute. And you know, we've been looking at a lot of stats. The per minute stats are some of my favorite. It shows the efficiency, right?
Yeah.
You really can compare how much damage and how much help a player is putting together if you're looking at a time frame in which they're doing it.
Absolutely. Now we'll jump back into the gameplay. Players are loading in right now to see exactly how this game number 1, Oddball on Recharge, will end up and which team will take the lead early on in the series.
And for Cloud9, this is a do or die moment. The game is live and we're back underway. Like we mentioned, they need the full 100. And it's going to be interesting for them to see if they can scrape their way back into this game. But at the moment, like I mentioned, it's looking tough for them to do. It's looking like Sentinels have got their number on this game side.
Absolutely. You see the players about to load into the game time, getting ready to go. Some early pre-game chatter here. And Sentinels, no stranger to the main stage, but it's been a long time since they've been there. These guys are used to World Championship titles, very, very large prize pools. To be honest, not too bad of one here. $350,000 on the line, by the way, thanks to HCS crowdfunding. And there's nothing that these four guys want more than to reclaim that throne, because after the time that Sentinels had up top as the undisputed kings of Halo, for them to have spent the last 8 months in the top 4, that's not where you want to be. Once you've had a taste of the top, you want to stay there, especially when you talk about the discipline and the pursuit of excellence of those players. This is their chance.
It's not only that as well, you've got to remember that this is an opportunity and maybe redemption for this lineup as well, right? It's been one of the most turbulent stories you could ask for in esports since the launch of Halo Infinite. Formal coming in, doing what he could. There was the beef between teams that, you know, was kind of public, I guess you would say. At this point, everyone kind of knows what happened between some of the top teams in Halo Infinite. But through all of that adversity, through all of the difficulty, I think it's been the last 2 weeks or so where we've really seen Sentinels on that rise again. The FaZe Invitational, I think, was a great indication of just where they were.
Absolutely. They look better and better. Also scrim results, right? The way that they've been playing in recent scrims, anyone who's tuned into their gameplay knows that this team came to this tournament ready to play, and all they really need to do is get to Sunday. Because once these four guys get to a championship Sunday, they seem to put on performances, and heaven forbid they get to a Game 5 or a Game 7, they seem to clutch up every single time. For the first time ever in Halo Infinite, we are seeing Cloud9 with quite a challenger.
Sentinels just getting confirmation from the back as we do have the game loading in the background. We'll need 55 points, so I was 1 off.
Close though.
I mean, for me, that's pretty good.
That's really good for you, yeah. Jumping back in, as you say, 55 points needed on the board for Sentinels, which gives even less room for error on the side of Cloud9. But we've seen them play perfect rounds of not just Oddball, but every single game type in Halo Infinite. As we get ready to jump back in, Sentinels will only need a few holds, potentially, to take game number 1.
First few moments of this game, absolutely vital as we get restarted here. Starting off with the point of view of Royal 2. Now, the story, the first couple of rounds that we've seen have been Sentinels winning that opening rush, and from there, getting 20, 30 seconds. C9 can't afford that this time. Otherwise, that could be the map disappearing in front of their eyes.
They went 2v1 again. So far, a man advantage on screen. Should be a camo grab here for Royal 2. He will grab that. They will go 2v2 off of the opening, though, so Cloud9 with a little bit better opening to start this second round.
Desperately trying to hunt Royal 2 down as well, and somehow the man survives for now. And now he's going to have to flank. The patience pays off. Renegade has no idea that Royal 2 is behind him. StelluR going to take damage. Royal 2 evens up the numbers. 3 dead here for C9.
I don't think we've ever seen Cloud9 with 3 dead this many times in a series, let alone in a game 1. This is quite a tone setter for the rest of the grand finals.
And again, the pipes push is relentless. The battle in this pipes area of the map. Eco's not going to connect with that beat down, but the shots will be a little bit cleaner. LethuL comes in to trade things out. Renegade was flanking through Turbine, though, which has put Sentinels on the back foot for now. But Frosty's there to help out LethuL. There's a repulsor as well, just to force away some of this damage and maybe force away a couple of players.
You gotta think, Sentinels is thinking, if we play a little bit more Slayer heavy oddball, this could lean into our favor. Make sure that when we grab, we have control. Just deny the ball, get enough points on the board, they could see themselves through this game, number 1.
I mentioned how the start of games has been pretty similar so far. Royal 2, though, is continuing the form that we've seen so far. But the story a little bit different here, Andy. You can see at the bottom of your screen the score. Barely any touches on that oddball for either side. And if you Cloud9 with the way things have been going, you would say that they'd be happier than they have been previously, but LethuL does his best Scorpion impression and says to that ball, get over here.
LethuL's gonna scoop that ball right up. Sentinels fans in the arena getting loud already for a few points on the board for Sentinels. Make that only 45 points needed for Sentinels.
All of a sudden, they're starting to roll again. Frosty popping up in the feed, double kill. Opening damage. And now he's flanking down bottom middle. He picked up that camo, he scooped up that camo, and now he's gonna pick up a killing spree. Great reticle placement, great wins, and a nice trade as well. Sentinels with a 19 points on the board already over the C9-2, but just a reminder, they only need 55.
StelluR trying to get maybe some kind of play ball, and he really does. He gets that ball bottom middle, but it was all he could do in that moment. He doesn't get it far enough. SnakeBite's going to grab, and they will continue scoring.
SnakeBite's going to be able to get this one back towards C as well. And with 2 players dead for Cloud9, he's going to take a couple of shots. He's going to get that information, and look at that kill feed. It lights up in red.
4 dead.
4 dead here for C9.
This could be it.
Frosty's going to get the sword as well, and as you say, this could well be it. They only need around 15 seconds at this point to close out map number 1. It's almost a final push here coming in for Cloud9.
They bait the C stairs push. It's tough though. Frosty hoping they would go control, they didn't, but the rotate goes all the way around to gold.
Look at that rotate. As you say, they've got the ball all the way back to gold. Frosty is now on the flank essentially. They only need 5, 6, 7, 8 points now to close this one out. And Frosty is just being a nuisance. StelluR forces the ball back into Turbine, but as I say, it's forced. 3 players once again fall for Cloud9. Renegade's got no chance of getting eyes on that ball. He's taken down as well. And with that, LethuL moves the ball back into pipes, and Sentinels will go up by 1.
Oh my word. We have never seen Sentinels looking this good in Halo Infinite, and you have certainly never seen Cloud9 on the receiving end of a defeat like that in a grand finals. That is quite a game number 1 from Sentinels, and I think if you had asked anyone, would we see a score line like that in a game 1 against Cloud9, very few would have told you that it might look that dominating from Sentinels. They will take the first game.
Scary.
Yeah.
Scary Sentinels is the only word that jumps to mind at the moment when I'm looking at how ruthlessly this team is playing right now, playing for each other, winning the individual battles, reading the map, reading C9's plays every single time, and getting that opening damage. It's just the perfect round, the perfect game at the start of this series.
I don't think we've ever seen this many numbers of Cloud9 going 3, 4 dead. Like I said, in an entire grand final perhaps. Cloud9 is so good at staying alive, keeping your last player alive, keeping 2 players alive, winning 1v2s they shouldn't. We aren't seeing any of that in game number 1.
They're not being allowed to. You can see the teamwork is just there. Every time a battle's taken, there's someone in the vicinity from Sentinels just to add another bullet, just to make sure the trade is there. And also just the pace that they were playing at, always knowing that they could recognize numbers, that they had the opportunity to push, that they might have a 2v1, they forced the advantage immediately. And it wasn't someone popping up here in the game for Sentinels as well. That's almost the scariest thing as well. It was everybody doing their job almost to the T.
Frosty 12-4 at this, 13-4 at this stage.
I stand corrected. Frosty was doing pretty good.
Of the round. I mean, unbelievable stuff from Frosty. You saw him grabbing camos while he 180 fadeaways that kill into Attic. The man's always doing it with style. And Sentinels as a team is looking so good. 2-0 in Oddball Recharge. Now 3 games away from a new champion here in Kansas City.
As the moments pass, as the sand ticks away, it does feel like Sentinels are getting closer and closer to that first championship here on Halo Infinite. But now it's time to talk about StelluR, and it's time to move our attentions towards Streets, because there's been some banger games so far today, and some of them extremely quick, some of the slowest we've seen so far in Halo Infinite.
I mean, yeah, StelluR Streets, anything can happen, and I think one thing we know is that teams can play it super fast at times, and those pushes can pay off. Other times the game can slow down to a crawl, and you have true play calls being made, right? Actually telegraphing how they want to push and try to get 4 dead if they can. It's a fantastic game type to have as our game number 2. And the fact that Sentinels could go up 2-0 on Cloud9 here and be 2 away is pretty wild. And I don't know how this is going to play out. Normally we have an idea of how this might go, but Sentinels, of course, not the favorite. We'll be the first to say it here at this event, right? It was always a story of Optic and Cloud9. Sentinels has found their way in through the winner's bracket. And now an opportunity to go up 2-0.
I think they kicked the door down, to be fair to them, to get into this grand final the way they have been playing. And for Cloud9, even now, I feel like there's a really important moment in the series for the momentum, because, as I say, it's different if Sentinels are coming from the elimination bracket and they come into the grand final and they take that first game, right? And then Sentinels can kind of sit up a little bit and think, okay, it's game time. But knowing you come off the back of a series where you've already lost to this lineup, and not just lost 3-1. Questions got to be asked. Questions got to be going through the minds here at C9.
Certainly, and keep in mind, C9 is a team that ices up. We saw them do it just now in that last series, right? When everything is on the line, they step up. In that first game, though, we didn't see much from them, and it's crazy to think how much they just shut down Renegade, arguably the best player in the game. We barely saw Renegade, which is something we almost never say. In that last round, he was 4-8. They got outslayed 31-19. It is wild to see what we are seeing here on the main stage.
As we take a look at the Sentinels lineup here, one player I want to focus on a little bit as well is Royal2. I mean, I think he has been outstanding for Sentinels so far across this tournament, and not just from the individual plays, it's the consistency of the big numbers. I mentioned, I call him one of the greatest KD players of all time, and when you can rely on a pillar like that back in your lineup, if you're in the StelluR game, a tight StelluR game like we saw a little bit earlier, you know a man, you give him a power weapon, he's going to do the damage, he's going to hit the headshot. It's invaluable to have a man like that alongside you in those pivotal games in the series.
I mean, just look at what he was doing with the Shock in that game number 1. He was taking on some of the best players to play this game on Cloud9 head-to-head and winning those must-win battles with the Shock Rifle. Another thing we're going to be looking for in this game on Streets, of course, is that Stalker Rifle control.
Oh, 100%, and he's going to be a man who'll be picking it off the rip if he can, if he's going to be spawning down in that tram area. And I think the Bulldog has been a game changer as well. You know, the ability to just play it in and around tires, around back A. If you can get up to Ivy, you know, it's almost impossible to win the battle against those players. We've seen people just desperately trying to stick them if they see them as well. Get a plasma grenade in your hand, get a spiker grenade in your hands and pierce the skin and the armor just to get a trade in that situation. But if you can get that thrust and you can combine it with the Bulldog, you are a menace here on Streets.
Absolutely. Game number 2. Huge momentum game in this series, but we see Sentinels only 2 games away, or does Cloud9 even things up and set us up for a long evening here in Kansas City?
I'm ready for a long evening.
Let's do it.
I'm ready for a very, very long evening. I want to go the full distance. I want to see a reset. I want to see a game 14, and I want to see a 50-49. That's what I want to see right now. I want to see some of the best Halo Infinite we've seen so far. But as you can see, firstly, we've got to get into this next game, and it looks like we're almost ready to go here. The fist bumps are coming in from both sides of the stage, and that can only mean one thing.
That means one thing, and game 2 is about to get underway. And I think we want to see the best Halo we've seen out of these teams. So far, we've seen it out of Sentinels, but they shut down Cloud9 in game number 1. This will be map 2, StelluR on Streets.
I think the crowd realizes how important this moment is for both sides. Sentinels fans starting to make a little bit more noise as well. And as we take a look at some of these stats, Andy, there's a few things that are jumping out.
50-38 in Sentinels, but look at the assists on the board for Cloud9. Really interesting stat line here to see a 12-kill difference. We'll see if Sentinels can repeat here on StelluR Streets.
Game 2 of your grand finals is live. And it's going to be Frosty and SnakeBite who aggressively, immediately get rid of Renegade. One falls here for C9. 2 players going to be on the L. Eco falls as well. Frosty with a hot start.
Sentinels is not afraid of Cloud9. 4 dead. It's a 4-0 lead for Sentinels, and they are bringing it straight to the side of C9.
Look at the first respawner as well. As Renegade is already half shields. Pznguin gets sent back into the respawn screen. Renegade survives and picks up 1, but all of this action just means that the Rockets go to the hands of SnakeBite. Sentinels go up 7-2.
What a convincing opening from Sentinels. You saw how they flew up B stairs, past B pillars, straight at the tires. Even though Renegade was there, they had a rocket grab on L. It didn't matter. Sentinels is bringing the pressure. They are bringing the heat in our grand finals. Great push here from SnakeBite as well.
Pressure is the perfect word. Look at the aggression as well. Spike grenades being thrown, flying across the map. Just a few moments ago, SnakeBite was picking up those spike grenades. He transfers straight across the middle of streets, straight back to the fight where his teammates are, and cleans the pieces up.
Do not adjust your television sets. Sentinels is up 12-3 over Cloud9. Quadruple the kills of their opponents here early on.
Finally, it's going to be C9 who get the first kill. It's going to be StelluR who opens things up. Frosty trading. SnakeBite coming in to trade as well. There's that Stalker rifle, and it's in the hands of Royal 2. And you can see from the POV of SnakeBite how vital it is.
If you hit the names of the Cloud9 players here, you would never guess that Sentinels was playing C9. We have not seen this yet throughout the entire season.
17-7!
3 dead here for Sentinels, though. SnakeBite is last player alive on B-Rail. An opportunity for Cloud9 to get some semblance of control here.
Finally, Cloud9 do get a semblance of control. Like you say, Frosty can be taken down by Renegade. And I think he's just trying to speed things up a little bit here. Trying to make this game a little bit more frantic. This is where C9 can catch Sentinels off guard. Rocket launcher's going to be popping as well, but there's the trades. And again, Cloud9 find themselves 3 dead.
Now 20-12. Gonna watch here on the Bulldog spawn. Good shots from Royal 2. That's what you would expect. Doesn't even need the help. They're going to continue to watch here on the Neons.
I mean, this has just been stifling. It's been suffocating. It's almost been sadistic in the way that Sentinels have approached this game. Rockets back in the hands of SnakeBite 2. Still 2 in the chamber. Unfortunately for Eco, he's going to feel the brunt of 1.
22-15 now in favor of Sentinels. They're 2 dead, but still rocket control in hand. Let's get into an Astro. Listen in for the side of Sentinels.
They're gonna come in. 2 steps coming. Renegade 1 in posters and another one in driveway.
I'm here, Matt.
Holy shit, nice shot. 1 in driveway, 1 in steps. Yo, work together. Nice go. Driveway 1, driveway 1.
Driveway.
Yo, I'm gonna go down right.
Okay, shit. It's gonna be your driveway.
Brad, I'm gonna go down right, okay?
One shot right here.
Where's that?
Driveway.
Heard.
It was Renegade, right?
Yo, man, I'm shooting left with you.
I spawned out.
Driveway.
so down.
Eco 1 in driveway.
Remember, we have
P1.
the
Yo, cuts. Mid back.
Alright, yo, he's down pink.
Gonna be agent.
He's 1 in top C, Renegade.
Alright,
Alright, all good. Work together.
If there's a guy shot of your agent.
okay, that's fine.
I want
Back C, back left.
Yo, I'm gonna cut tower.
Do I have help tower side?
I'm about to be in a second. Yeah, I want to kill these guys right, by the way.
Yeah, go right.
StelluR have top C. TJ, walk it down.
Yeah,
Right with the thrust, he wasted it.
I'm gonna go
Dead. One more commando, I think driveway. I think it's driveway.
The one in cuts, TJ. To you. I shot you.
One commando, one more commando.
Alright, another one. 2 steps.
Top C with Stalker. Yep. Spawning cafe could be.
Right,
You're low, bro, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. Go push out cafe for me, someone.
I got you. They had a shotty at
I have
cuts.
your help, bro.
I'm good.
Yeah, no, there's a guy driveway.
Let's work peace out, CJ. I think we should work peace.
I'm not looking at.
Top C. Penguin half health top C. They're probably playing.
Yep.
I'm getting rushed from.
Yeah, he's ready. One cuts, one benches, one in.
Cuts and benches.
One benches. Yo, commando, Eco, one in. One shot, Eco.
I got read. Benches, yeah.
I'm going right.
Yeah, we can
Driveway cuts.
Top C. One top C. I'm with for rockets.
Can't get it. Go spider for him.
Shot,
Toss it to you.
Yo, front tower.
Alright, yo, calm it down a little bit, alright?
Shit, I'm here, man. I'm here.
Yo, they're all in C.
3 steps. 1 here. Nice shit.
Is there another?
Yeah, let's see driveway.
I'm gonna go driveway.
Alright, yeah, let's clap. Split.
I'm here, BJ.
Madam, here. We cafe.
StelluR 1 hit. StelluR hit.
Well, the score and the gap has closed. It's now just a 1-kill game, and the throw of the Rockets towards Royal 2 from SnakeBite was almost beautiful.
Beautiful toss of the rocks there into tires, but how much did it matter on the scoreboard? They had to work so hard because Cloud9 is pushing them that hard. Cloud9 will take the lead 32-30 despite being down 12-3.
I think at one point it was 17-7. This has been a turnaround of epic proportions, should I say, coming in from Cloud9, 32-31. And the game really starts to tighten up now. SnakeBite trying to challenge from L, but there's that Stalker rifle again. The damage output of this thing is absolutely nuts.
Confidence from StelluR there. LethuL makes him pay. from the B stairs. Now they try to push in, but Pznguin ekes out a kill. You'd argue that Sentinels maybe shouldn't have given up.
I think it's Pznguin who's been at the heart of a lot of what's been good in the last few moments. Actually, for C9, he had a little bit of a slow start, but now you're looking across his stats and he's 9 and 8, even though that might not seem too crazy. I think it was about 0-4 at the start of this game, so Pznguin's starting to come to life, as is the rest of Cloud9.
Unbelievably close here. 37-35. StelluR wins another one with the microwave. They will maintain the 2-kill lead, make that 3 kills, 3 dead for Sentinels.
Now, how does C9 want to approach the next few moments? Are they going to try and collapse? Are they going to hold map control? It looks like they've got the information of where the spawn is coming in from Sentinels. But Frosty's going to slow down this push. Smart decision here from Cloud9. Not getting that first kill, knowing they still have the lead. The last thing you want to do is start bleeding kills away.
Just like that, 3 kills becomes a 1-kill lead for C9, making a tie game at 39. This is your home stretch.
This game has almost disappeared in the blink of an eyelid here. Sentinels, though, with those 2 kills, give themselves a 2-kill advantage. They need 8. Cloud9 closing in on them as well. This is a pivotal moment in this game, and the Rockets could decide everything. Or maybe it's going to be Frosty making the play. Eco, he misses the beat down, he snaps onto him! Frosty!
Unbelievable 1v2 from Frosty there to win those 2 battles. Rockets are still up bottom middle, but only 3 more kills to go for Sentinels.
That could be the game-winning play. That could be the game-changing play from Bradley Bergstrom. You know it best as Frosty. Most people know him as the guy who puts him in the death screen. LethuL, he's going to pick up the 48. Frosty trying to be aggressive. SnakeBite moves in. Couple of rockets. Doesn't even need to use them. Sentinels, 2-2 up in your grand finals.
Look at that. The general SnakeBite. Proud of the squad there. That's a fantastic result once again for Sentinels. They win 50-43 and will continue on. Now leading Cloud9 2-0 and 2 games away from reclaiming the Halo throne after many years.
The start that they had in that game was absolutely electric. But Cloud9, you just thought for a second there with the way they turned it around, with the split spawns they managed to create, that they were coming back into things now. But as you look across the stage there, maybe a few defeated faces on the face of Cloud9 here.
Not something we're used to seeing on the C9 side of the stage. Normally a bit more smiles, a bit more laughs after each game. It's been anything but for Cloud9. This is the toughest test they've had, undoubtedly, not just on land, but period. In the first 8 months of Halo Infinite, now they need to find what they're made of. Does the C9 story become a three-peat of an epic comeback? Or instead, will they give up the #1 spot to Sentinels?
Looking across Cloud9 right now, and I'm got to look at Eco. I've got to say, you're the man who gets these guys going. You're the good man who gets these guys focused.
Yeah.
So you can see SnakeBite on the other side of the stage. You know, we call him the general. He's commanding the troops. He's saying, that's done. 2 in the books. Let's look forward to CTF Aquarius. Eco needs to be that guy right now. Someone needs to be that guy for Cloud9 right now to say, boys, it's time to go. We cannot afford to go 3 down in this series.
That game ends 50-43. Let's not forget, it was 32-30 in favor of Cloud9. We're gonna get a chance to look at some gameplay here from that last minute, but that was a 20-9 run from Sentinels to close out the game. Look at the score here, tied at 40.
And it was all the play around that rocket launcher as well. The brilliance of the play from Frosty will get the opportunity to look at once more, because there's more to it than catches the eye immediately. He almost baits the rocket launcher.
Watch the pre-nade on the L. This is unbelievable. He pre-nades the player jumping down from Neons into the L.
Gets the pre-nade down, as you say, it's beautiful. Cleans up the kill on Renegade, and then he knows Eco has got to focus on the rockets. He gets a little bit lucky, but then it's the positioning. He jumps up onto the gen, he gets the height advantage, and he manages to snap onto that headshot. It's brilliant. We call him a Halo genius, you can see why.
And he looks cooler than I have ever looked doing it all, right? No expression on his face, this man. It's so calculated, and not, like you said, gave them the 47-43 cushion. And now here's the push in the end. They just collapse on C.
Great push at the end as well. Frosty's just doing so much damage, and you want to see how efficient the last push was. LethuL and LethuL pick up the kills before SnakeBite even has to use that rocket. So now Sentinels, as you say, kind of halfway to getting this done in the quickest possible time here. 2-0 up. And it's time for Cloud9 to answer back.
It is, and if there's one thing that not only do we know here at the casting booth, in the arena, and everyone at home, the players on Sentinels also know Cloud9 can strike at any time. There is a reason this team still has the #1 spot in this league. We have seen them do devastating things in terms of comebacks, and at any given moment, they can totally bring back a series in their favor. And you have to think, Cloud9, they're thinking the same thing, even though they've been defeated 2 back-to-back losses. You can see, as you said, the defeat on their faces. Big opportunity for them.
As we wait to get into our next game, it gives us an opportunity just to maybe highlight what that next game is going to be, Andy, because I think this is a very, very interesting one, and it's one we've already seen these two teams play so far today. It went into the hands of Sentinels, and it was an extremely tight game. It was back and forth. Almost from the first bullet that was fired, it's Aquarius capture the flag is where we're going to be going, and I tell you what, it's an opportunity for Cloud9 because there was a couple of tiny, tiny misplays that they made in that game, which could have turned it in their favor.
Certainly, and one thing to look at here is flag cap efficiency for the side of Cloud9. On Aquarius Slayer, it is 58%. Highest in the league, they convert 58% of flags pulled. On Sentinels, it's only 41%, so you have to think maybe an edge here for Cloud9 on Aquarius CTF.
You see that flag moving most of the time. If it's Cloud9 who are moving it, it's going to result in a flag cap. It's pretty impressive. That stat is pretty ridiculous if you actually put it into context, if you take the time to write it down and really look at it. It's pretty nuts to be that efficient. Once the flag is moving, just being able to control the map that well to get it back is nuts.
And Pznguin not only leading the team in flag pulls, oftentimes he has 47% of flag pulls in tournaments. That's an unbelievable stat for an objective player, that he manages to find himself in those positions to be able to always pull those flags and bring them back home as well.
And we're talking about the positives here for Cloud9 ahead of this game, but like I mentioned, it is the case that one of the games that they did lose, unfortunately, and it is one of their last 21 CTF games, I believe, was to the team who faces them on the opposite side of the stage.
Unbelievable. The fact that they have won this game 20 times, lost it once, and of course their opponents sitting across from them were the ones that handed them that defeat. So if the stats are any indicator, we are set up here for quite a game #3 in the series.
Well, it looks like the players are back on stage, and it looks like we're almost ready to get into our third game of the series. Now, I want to get your opinion on this. I want to get a little bit of prediction out of you. If you would humor me for a few moments here, Andy. This is a massive game in the series, arguably the swing game in the series here. You feeling Sen? You're seeing C9 come back.
How do you bet against Sentinels at this point? I think their momentum looks so good, but I'm not counting out C9, and I think C9 knows what's on the line. Not just the reputation, not just the story of the season, but also the cash prize. Just so much on the line here. Game #3, all to play for. Kansas City, you ready for game #3? Let's try that again.
Let's try that again. Kansas City, are you ready for game #3? That sounded a little bit better. Cloud9 Sentinels, the grand final continues here on Aquarius Capture the Flag.
Not a grand final that any would have predicted so far. Sentinels here leading Cloud9, your favorites and #1 ranked team in the world, 2-0. Here was our last game of Aquarius CTF.
One thing they've got to deal with as well, do not let Royal2 get inside of your base. Do not let Royal2 control that bridge towards your base from that closet. He is a master, and not only dealing damage, but staying alive as well. He needs to be dealt with, and off the rip here, it's Cloud9 who come out hot.
And it's the first time we've seen it on any opening rush in our grand finals. The first time we've seen Cloud9 get that advantage. That flag is already running, and who else but Pznguin to start the run.
Pznguin starts the run, Eco has the camo. It looks like things are going to slow down for just a second here, and Pznguin is being a nuisance inside of the base. Frosty going to take a little bit of damage. Pznguin going to exchange positions to try and close down the gap onto Frosty, but somehow Frosty turned that one around.
See how these kills go right now. 2 dead for Cloud9. 3 dead make that. Sentinels will win that now. A momentary 1v1 between Pznguin and Royal2 for map control.
And it's just how impressive that defensive play actually was coming in from Sentinels as well. You highlight the statistics. Every time it seems like Pznguin has his hands on the flag, it turns into a cap. But look at this. As I say it, the story writes itself. Pznguin gets his hands back on that flag, and C9 keep it moving.
Great work from StelluR and Pznguin, and look at StelluR just sitting front courtyard as well. Finally, he'll be taken down, but as we said, the flag has already turned the corner.
Eco's got that flag in his hands. C9 needed something. They needed a spark, a lifeline. And the first cap, game number 3 will give them that.
Look at StelluR start. 6 kills already, triple that of anyone on Sentinels. These are unbelievable stats from Cloud9, and you have to wonder, Cloud9, they might be back.
It was a scrappy cap, though. I have to say, it was a scrappy cap. It wasn't clean, it wasn't one that Cloud9 will probably put in the playbook, but it worked. And to me, that sounds like Sentinels have misplayed it a little bit. Saw them get a little bit staggered. Maybe they didn't throw the bodies they needed to send that flag back home, but for now, they're clearing out their own base. SnakeBite going to be able to pick up some kills, you would imagine, with the heat wave, but Eco is hot on his tail.
Frosty winning a big battle up top against Renegade, and that will also let him pop the camo. 2 dead for Cloud9 at the moment.
Looks like Frosty's trying to be a little bit sneaky with this camo as well. He knows that a couple of players have fallen on his team. Sneakiness means double kills. Double kills turn into triples pretty quickly if your name is Frosty. Flag has been thrown out as well by Sentinels. There's a real opportunity for them to force it home.
Look at Frosty just pinging and doing so much damage in the fridge. And they know this will be another opportunity to keep that flag running. And Frosty stays alive as long as he can in the gen. Should be taking down high gen. 2 dead for Sentinels.
2 dead for Sentinels, but 1 dead for C9. And with all the damage that Frosty was doing, the only problem really was no one was cleaning up the kills. Maybe Royal 2 is going to be able to get a touch, grabs that flag, but you can see there was 1 player still alive who was there for C9, but there's LethuL getting a touch as well, and it's just a battle of scrappy caps at the moment. It looks like Cloud9 have managed to get control, but as I say that, SnakeBite with the double forces it up the straight stairs, and he's going to be able to tie things up.
Wow, tie game here. Sentinels with unbelievable aggression and resilience on that flag run there. They did not give up. They kept holding forward. Yet Cloud9 for sure thought they were going to slow that down. That return looked good on paper, but Sentinels just applying the aggression non-stop. 3 dead here though for Sentinels. Let's go into a listen with Cloud9, see if they can make this flag run happen.
Flag taken.
He's on back flag.
On our flag.
Gonna pull it in a second.
One guy spawning.
Our closet, our little closet. They're pulling a closet. You guys
2 guys are
closet.
closet.
Yeah, 2 guys are closet.
Short bridge. Red shots. Short bridge weak. Royal 2. Royal 2. Nice. Card 3.
Okay, 2 guys card 3. Terminal. 2 guys card 3.
Alright, hell, they need help.
Card 3 guys, card 3
Closet,
guys.
2 closet. 2 closet.
Yeah, 2 guys
1 guy on camo, 2 are closet.
Kills camo. Nice.
2 are closet. Look at the re. Look at the re. We gotta get a touch. We gotta get a touch.
On me, Kevin, on me. I died. I tried to get touched.
It's
1 shot. I should have suicide for that.
All good.
Back to our flag when we spawn. Back to our flag when we spawn. I know you are. We need to get it clear.
Our flag.
We need to clear our cluster.
One shot our flag. 2 1 shots. 2 1 shots our flag. 2 1 shots our back flag. Back flag, both of them. 1 window, 1 back flag. Nice. 3 dead. 3.
That's guy like pink on me? Think pink 1 or something?
Just get to our side. Look at our side. Just get to
On our closet.
I kill him. Good.
I'm getting nades. I'm getting nades. I'm coming low, Braden.
Helping you, John.
I'm here now.
Get their flag, guys.
He's here. Go shocks at all?
I do.
Yeah, good call.
Suck him.
1 shot, guys.
One shot. Back flag, 1 shot.
I'm 1 shot. I got him.
P tunnel maybe? P tunnel.
Two guys.
I got it.
All dead, right? All dead. Block closet.
Block closet.
This is, yep. Watch the OE, watch the OE.
Do we watch our P? Do we watch our P?
Yeah. We're good. Relax. They're coming back.
I'm ping 1. I'm helping you. They're window right now.
Pink 2, guys. Pink 2, guys.
Yo, they're car 1. They're car 1 weak. Frosty. Last guy, roll to the front base. Car glass, jump up. On Zane. Nice. 3 dead.
They caused this one somehow.
He's looking at me.
He's watching on me. I got 1. Another guy.
A little bit more life here from C9, not just in the comms. They tie the game up at 2-2, and they're looking to force another flag.
Killing spree as well for Eco on screen. You hear it in the comms from Renegade. Calm down, we got this. This flag's going home. Maybe getting a little bit more composure on their side of the stage.
Dynamo's going to be thrown in from Pznguin as well. That man's, once again, been the objective mastermind for Cloud9, all even across the board for kills. As it stands on the map. Camo popping in a few moments as well. StelluR's got his hands on it.
Be able to maybe drop as well. No damage, so he'll get the free pop on the camo. Gets spotted out immediately though. Oh my God, great plays from LethuL and Co. Play that angle and just melt that camo off of StelluR.
Said Eco might be the guy to step up here for Cloud9. He needed to rally the troops. He's doing exactly that. He's leading by example. Currently it's at 17 and 8, and now he's clearing out his base. Picks up 2 more kills. That's 19 kills now for Kevin Smith.
Control looks so good here from Cloud9. Starting to once again come back into the form that we're used to seeing from this C9 roster. The best in the world until now. Looking to secure the title again. Here comes the run. 3 were dead at the time of the pull. 4th player is dead.
This run.
Great work from Eco.
It's brilliant from C9. Usually you see those runs being forced through the car side of the map, but with those dynamos, C9 were able to isolate the players off respawn. They throw them into the fridge. Sentinels get fried, and C9, there is life in Cloud9. They're up 3-2.
Can we take a look here at Eco's stats on your screen? He is 20 and 8 in this game. Unbelievable numbers. The most kills in the game, and he's still on single-digit deaths.
Ridiculous performance in this game from Eco. It was going to take something special, but it also might leave the door open here for LethuL to get that flag moving once more. Respawn's coming in, but they're on the gen side of things. But with the kills that have managed to be secured in the side, Pznguin will be able to send that home, but at what cost? Renegade now left on his own in the base, has to win this battle, and will do.
Will do also has spawners as well, and you have to think maybe Sentinels just need a little more damage before that pull. LethuL tosses that out. 2 dead for both sides.
2 dead for both sides, but 2 dead. And in the respawn screen, having a scrap to see if they can get this flag back home from Cloud9. SnakeBite picks up Eco. Frosty forces this one back down past those dynamo grenades. But Pznguin does have eyes on it, but here's SnakeBite again pressing forward, putting all of Cloud9 under pressure, and there's a touch on the flag from LethuL as well.
That's big work from SnakeBite, the amount of damage that he's doing as well. LethuL does get the touch. This flag is coming in. And of course, we are tied 3-3 here with 3:40 left on the clock.
3-3 as the clock strikes 3-4-3. There's almost some Halo poetry in there, and it's not just a single cap. No. Sentinels, they're showing us just how good they are. It's called back-to-back, people. It's a double cap.
Oh my God, you talk about flag efficiency. This team is doing it right now. C9, usually the one that's double capping, but instead, they get double capped on.
My question is, what's better than a double cap? It's a triple cap. They've got another flag out here. It looks like it might not happen, though, as Cloud9 finally gets some semblance of control of their base. But as I say that, look at LethuL. He's being a pain bottom middle. He had to go down there. Cloud9 have to expend some resources to send the flag home, and now Royal2 will get decimated.
But even that 3rd pull, that's so indicative of what Sentinels is doing in this series. They are not afraid to bring it straight to Cloud9 in a way that many teams are not able to do.
Big double from Renegade. Going to be challenging and sliding across the front of the base as well. LethuL's going to be traded out, so Sentinels momentarily there with 3 dead. However, Cloud9 don't really have the numbers to force this flag outside of the base. Royal2, a little bit of help from Pznguin will help Renegade remove him from the game for a few moments, but LethuL again answering back. It's trade for trade at the moment. Renegade starting to heat up a little bit here as well.
Got to point out here, Cloud9 is outslaying Sentinels 74-63 and losing by 1 flag. Sentinels playing great objective work here despite being outslayed by about 11.
Still just the 1 flag though between the 2 teams. And as we approach the final 2 minutes of this game number 3, Cloud9 are once again down, even though they were up for such a long time. As the double cap brilliance that came in from Sentinels to put them in this position, and as the clock starts to tick down, Cloud9 are starting to get nervous.
We know what Cloud9 is capable of late game. We've seen them with heartbreaking late game caps to win games they absolutely have no business winning. The question is, can they do it against this red-hot Sentinels roster?
Well, Renegade and StelluR are trapped in the back of the base here. LethuL got taken down. That was vital.
Oh boy.
If LethuL doesn't go down in that position and he is able to escape with his life, this might have been the final cap, but for now, it's just pressure on the base. Royal2 with the camo, looking to get behind enemy lines.
Just playing the back base here, picks up 1, maybe even turns 2 here.
Oh my word. 2 for Royal2, 3-4 for Cloud9. StelluR last alive, and LethuL's doing the dirty work.
SnakeBite knows where he is.
Slides that flag back home. SnakeBite takes down StelluR. 60 seconds left. Have yourself a cap, Frosty. Have yourself a win, Sentinels.
Can you believe it? Sentinels will take game number 3 with a score of 5-3. And now are 1 game away from 4-0 clean sweeping the best team in the world so far.
This is special, everybody. You're witnessing something very, very special here. Are we about to see the return of the Kings? One more game, and Sentinels will be your champs.
We called them the Sleeping Giant. Over the course of the weekend, that Sleeping Giant has not only awoken, but they now find themselves one game away from once again becoming your Halo Championship Series #1 team. Let's take a look at some replays from that game number 3.
Let's take a look at some replays. Indeed, it was C9 who got that first cap. That was the foothold they were desperate for. They get themselves some sort of momentum back in the series because it had been all Sentinels up to that point. But there's an obvious turning point in this game, Andy. You'll see the cap going in here from LethuL, but to establish map dominance in a way against a team who has won back-to-back lands to double cap, that is how good Sentinels are playing right now.
On at least 3 of these caps, they were only 2 alive, and they were throwing players in last-ditch efforts at the flags on perfect timing, perfect rotations, and they're able to sneak flags through that Cloud9 was not expecting. Once again, Cloud9 will end that game out, slaying Sentinels 80-74, and they will lose 5-3.
They will indeed, and now for Cloud9, questions, and probably ones they don't want to answer right now. How do you get back into the series is certainly going to be one of them, but for Sentinels, at the moment, it's starting to look like a little bit of a victory lap here, Andy. I'm sure the Sentinels fans, the lungs are warming up a little bit. They're getting the jitters. They can probably feel it as well, whether you're here in KC or whether you're watching at home. This could be the final dance here for Sentinels and Cloud9. Street Strongholds is where they can close it out.
This is not how we expected to get to our grand finals here in game number 4. I don't think anyone would have bet on a score line like this, but here we are, Renegade pushing in on Tram. They will pick up the first 2 kills. Has to be careful though, because he's 2 dead.
Good news here for C9. This is such a strong game type for them. Historically, they have picked up win after win, regardless of who they're going up against. And the difference here between this game type and some of the ones we've seen so far in this series, Andy, it's not about control, it's about rotations, it's about speed, it's about being aggressive, and that's where C9 starts to come to life.
Certainly, and where Renegade comes to life. We talked about this man of this, oftentimes called the best player in the game. He has been silenced so far by Sentinels, 3 dead for Cloud9. It's a good second rotation. Sentinels already with 40 points on the board.
Already with 40 points on the board. It looks like Cloud9 are going to be able to just slow down the scoring for now, but that's 50 points on the board already for Sentinels. And there's only a few moments gone in this game. SnakeBite trying to challenge. And at the moment, you just see the kill feed, and every single time that you do is LethuL, Will2, SnakeBite, Frosty. It doesn't matter because Cloud9 are all being put in the dead screen. 4 of them in the bed. 4 of them in the grave.
Should be a C-A swap here, but like I say, Cloud9 having to push out of PD, having to push out of A. Already the first kill being traded, but finally Cloud9 gets a minor man advantage for the first time in the game. It's already 74-0.
Let's see what control they can get from here, though. 3-4 for Sentinels, finally. Cloud9 have some breathing room. They're going to be able to work on moving B back into their possession. Frosty, though, gets 1. Frosty, though, oh my goodness me! Jersey said it best. He's got to open another incognito tab, I think.
Already 95-0, and just because this might be the last chance, let's get into an actual listening with Sentinels.
With Shoddy back tower.
Okay.
Eco. Gonna be hopping A soon, Eco.
One shot on Shoddy Swan.
Gonna be hopping A soon, I think.
One shot,
I can't see it.
Eco, I'm gonna die. Heaven and have those. One shot. Get up.
Nice.
Oh, just TJ, get ready to B.
Yeah.
I'll shoot music, I'll shoot it. Yeah, shoot PD. Yeah, 2 pushing B. We can B.
Yeah. Sweet. Pznguin.
I'm gonna go B back. We B close. I have nades on B. Wait, 2, I need help.
I'm cutting mid, bro.
Alright, you're good. 3, driveway, half, red, thrust it down. Oh, you're gonna go up A. 2-1, it's on me. 2-1, it's on me. Laundry.
Okay.
Can't see him. I'm living. They're gonna probably push you.
Yeah.
I just want to see. He's pushing. They're
me. I'm gonna die.
Where are you?
Heaven.
One shot, back tower. Evo, yeah, penguins. 2B box, StelluR's kind of weak. I'm not leaving.
I'm up 2.
Trash. Frenzy.
I can look. Renegade. Nice.
TJ, come on.
Yeah, top B benches.
TJ, come on.
Yeah, I'm going up here.
Yeah, you guys should just work tower. Don't even worry about home. StelluR kills. No, I'm gonna run a mid, Brad.
Yo, back towers, Eco.
Let's pinch.
StelluR kills him. He's tires top.
Punch towers. We're Brad.
Eco's on me, goes.
Yeah, he's nice job. Yeah, we cap this. We cap.
Yo, get ready to fight C. I think we want. It could be 1 PD. Could be 1 PD.
Okay. Yeah.
I spawn A.
Okay.
Name me from music.
And then tires on music.
I'm here,
Tires Renegade. And music. Matt, Gary, can you go down? Tires because we have C. So, mid-map.
It sounds like the Sentinels of old. Calm, cool, collected. The example of perfect communication.
It really is. I think you heard Roll 2 at one point when he was on Neon saying, we're chilling, we're fine. Look at this. They're still up by just about 100 points. Cloud9, though, starting to put some points on the board here with their BC hold.
SnakeBite making the move down the streets, though, to try and flip C. Playing in players. Once again, Eco loses the battle. This time it was a little bit weaker, but what it does mean is the combined kills of Frosty and SnakeBite flip C back over to Sentinels. And they're about to cross that 150-point mark.
During the first part of that listening, you and I looked at each other and we said, what is happening? We are not used to seeing this in the Halo Championship Series. It's a story being written before your eyes. Great work with the commando from SnakeBite in the back of C as well. They will be 2 dead, though. Frosty all alone at B, but a nice little flank here on B stairs.
2 pushing from Cloud9 on those B stairs, though. Frosty's going to be able to hold the door. He's going to say, StelluR! You're going to have to work hard to get in here, my friend, but StelluR had just enough about him to win that fight. Those little moments, Andy, they can turn games.
And here's the crazy thing. Yes, it's 168 to 66. Cloud9 can still bring this back, but not when LethuL's making plays like that.
LethuL stepping up when it matters there. That double kill just slows the pace down. It allows the respawners to come in from Sentinels. Now they can formulate that push, and Renegade, unfortunately for you, it's time to have 10 seconds to think about that choice.
Great route from LethuL there to go heaven to get height over the driveway players as well.
Pznguin trying to scamper away. LethuL gonna be chasing him down. What's better than a double cap? It's a triple cap, but they can't quite force it. The reset comes in, but at what cost? Cloud9 find themselves 3 dead once again.
They find themselves not only 3 dead, but down by 130 points. Sentinels will cross the 200-point mark.
It's getting closer. It's getting closer. The crowd can feel it here in KC. StelluR manages to secure that kill to keep control of B. Cloud9 have an AB set up, but they're just losing kill after kill. Royal 2 jumps inside of B. He's last player alive here, but everybody else from Cloud9 also caught on respawn.
It was Royal 2 and Pznguin, their only players alive, so it will be a BC trade. We got to talk about Frosty. He's 17 and 8 in this game. Unreal numbers from him. Oh, what on earth?
Royal 2 just does things that not many can. StelluR, you just feel like he's about to go into the death screen as well. The teamwork from the long-time duo on display once again.
Trip cap.
Turns into a trip cap. 222 and rising. LethuL takes down Pznguin. Frosty stands up on the highest point to look down on Cloud9 and says, how dare you challenge? How dare you forget about me? 245.
That's it.
248. Oh, at the last second. Cloud9 jump into B. Cloud9. Too little, too late. Sentinels. They're back.
The multi-time Halo World Champions are your champions at the HCS Major, Kansas City.
History made. The sleeping giants are back on top. KC, give it up for Sentinels.
And how about the way that they do it? Out of nowhere, 4-0ing the undisputed champions until today. In an unbelievable clean sweep, 4-0.
Sunday Sentinels is a different beast. It was a tough Friday. It was an even tougher Saturday performance from them.
Look at
But
this.
Sunday is where Sentinels win championships. Your HCS KC major winners are Sentinels.
It's been a little while since they've hoisted a trophy on the main stage, and you can just tell by the smiles on their faces just how much it means to them. They will take home first place here in Kansas City.
Normally we've got a story to tell throughout the finals, of back and forth, of challenges. But this one was just pure dominance.
There were questions asked of a few of these players, specifically LethuL. Those questions are officially put to rest. Yeah, they are done. They are dusted. Sentinels don't want to hear it. And they have the most decisive victory we've seen in quite some time.
LethuL back to doing what he does best. And that is raising up trophies and raising one finger in a number of different ways.
Yes. Two different fingers. One
for the haters.
Yeah.
And one to prove that he's number one again.
What a performance here in a completely unexpected grand finals, 4-0. And the Sentinels fans crowd the stage right in front of their squad.
And a shout out to the Sentinels fans as well. I mean, as I said, this team has been through it. But there's one thing that can drag you through those hard times, is having the support of the people that you can see down at the front of the stage right now. Speaking of the stage, it's the man who is wearing one of the most beautiful hats I've ever seen. It's going to be Blaze. He's got an interview with your champions, Sentinels.